the Raw go home to Payback. I don't know how I feel about having Elimination Chamber and Payback in the same month, because we're going to have Elimination Chamber on the 31st and Payback is coming on the 17th. I feel like they're really trying so hard to get the WWE Network really to have a lot of interest that they're really sacrificing their pay-per-views and their product for it. And I think that's a very stupid idea. Taking away from that, I'm only going to talk about the bits about this show that I really felt interest me to Payback. Because there was a lot in the show, but I want to scale that down only to the things that really interest me. Now, when it comes to what happened with Cena versus Neville, I am saying this clearly. One of the things I was worried about with Cena was that anyone he gets put in front of will be buried to make sure he looks good. Now, I will say this. Because Neville was not sacrificed to Cena directly, I'm alright with it. He looked very good during the match. He looked good before the match. When Rusev came in and interfered with the match, I'm alright with that because they actually protected Neville. This is how I felt about it. They let Neville get what he needed in. They let Neville get the ending part of his finishing move done, which is the red arrow on Cena, and it looks like he would have pinned him. Now they leave it very open-ended to see if those two ever go up against each other. Could Neville throw a red arrow on Cena again to get him to lose? I'm alright with that. Now they're still drumming up what they needed to for this I Quit match, which I really don't want to see. Because I know that when this is all said and done, Rusev is going to be badly buried. And I'm not happy about that, but as I said before, I still stand by my decision letting John Cena be the US champion. Because since he's been there, oh man, we have Neville having his moment. You have Sami Zayn having his moment. Yes, Goldust didn't really get much of a scene, but it wasn't bad. You got Dean Ambrose, he had his moment. And you're getting more and more people on the lower tier roster getting to be with the 15-time champ. I'm alright with that. Hell, I want to see Damien Sandow go up against Cena. I want to see Kofi Kingston. Yes. When have you ever seen Kofi Kingston go up against John Cena? Kofi's gone up against Randy Orton, but he never went up to the caliber of John. Supposedly because of what happened with Randy. I want to see Kofi Kingston get that moment because they're doing pretty well with New Day dealing with the tag champs. They're getting a lot of interest. New Day sucks. New Day rocks. Whatever you want to call it, I want to see Kofi get his moment. Let him go up against the world champ for the US Championship. I'm alright with that as him as a heel. Now, seeing that Eric and Luke are back together, I knew this was eventually going to happen because I knew they weren't going to do anything with Eric. Well, at least to the point I thought really something was going to happen with Eric and Big Show. But then they just buried him because of the build-up they wanted for Big Show. I wasn't happy about that. But when it was all said and done, I knew that sooner or later they're going to pair these two back together. And they did. Eric and Luke are now in the tag team division, which they're going to be throwing against Cesaro and Kid. Which I'm alright with. You want to make Cesaro look great. You want to make Kid look great, particularly Cesaro, because now as a face, people are 100% behind him. They love him, particularly doing that super uppercut back and forth. I'm alright with that. And I am interested in seeing how New Day is going to be dealing with Cesaro and Kid. Doesn't mean it's going to be great, but I am interested in seeing it at Payback. Now, Sandow and Axel coming together as the Mega Powers. Oh yeah! There's going to be a match between the Ascension and the newly formed Mega Powers Light. That's the best way to say it. You got the Mega Powers Light against the Ascension, who I really feel bad about because they could have done something great with them. They didn't need to say that they're better than all the teams combined and then not let them be like all the teams combined, the best. They got buried badly. So I'm very upset about that. But now you're trying to get Axelmania, which people do like Curtis Axel in this position. You like seeing Damien Sandow in the position he's been in. But I admit, myself personally, I would have liked to see Damien Sandow really move away from the parodies and just let him be himself. I really believe that they kind of lost their mark when it came with him in The Miz. Because they could have had the feud at Payback, the ending of it, and Damien Sandow should have been the winner of it. But since they've done it so early, because they felt maybe it's better to get Damien Sandow and The Miz over with earlier, because we got all this other stuff to focus on, I believe they made a big mistake. Could Sandow as Macho Mandow work? I don't know. I'm kind of wary about it, because he is at the tail end of the Miz power that he gained. I mean, really, he had a huge following because of him dealing with The Miz. Now he's not with The Miz, and he's by himself with someone else who's doing a parody of his own. And it might not get over as much as people may think it will. I wanted to see Damien Sandow be himself, show his charismatic attitude without doing the parodies. And I really believe he might get buried by this. So it may work as the Mega Powers Light, but it may get buried badly in the end. Now, Bray Wyatt looked okay. But here's my problem with Wyatt and Ryback. Ryback is going to get a great rub from this, because this is a chance to really spotlight Ryback. And I'm alright with that. Ryback should be well above the mid-card right now. He should be right now in the main event, because this is a person that the WWE really likes in that position. But then you look at Bray Wyatt, who should also be up there. This feud should be something really substantial. You have Ryback, who really had incredible momentum, which he lost with John Cena. Then you have a Bray Wyatt, who had incredible momentum, but then he lost that to John Cena. Now you got both of these guys. Between the two, Ryback is really kind of here, and Bray is here. And after this is over, I believe Ryback will be here, and Bray's going to go down to here. So one is going to go up while the other one's going to drop. And that's the truth. And that really upsets me when it comes to Bray, because as a character, comparing him to Ryback, and I'm not against Ryback, I actually like Ryback. Bray's a much stronger and more compelling character than a Ryback, let's be honest here. Even though Ryback's real life story is very compelling, you got Bray Wyatt who can make it even more interesting. So it's very sad to see. Now, you have Tamina as well as my Naomi dealing with the Bellas. And this is a strange dynamic, because you got a heel group and heel twins and Bellas who now are being forced to turn face. And not many people care about them turning face, because this is what's really happening. The heel Bellas are being forced to turn face by the WWE. You have a heel Naomi, who really does need to turn heel, because she does need to go and become higher on the card. But then they're making her look like a face. Even though she's trying to act like a heel, they're trying to package her as a face, because she's trying to destroy the monarchy of the Bellas, because they have ruled the Divas division with an iron fist. So you're making a heel tag team in the Bellas to face, when it's not making them look like faces and making them even worse heels. And then you have a heel Naomi, who really is a face now, and she's trying really hard to be heelish when she's really being seen as a face, even more so. And Tamina, who hasn't been seen in a long time because of an ACL, who always has been like a face. She can be heelish, but she's always been like a face, and now she's a perfect match with Naomi, who's now trying to be a heel, who is really a face. That sounds like easy to see, but then it's really messy. And that's my problem. This is messy. Make Naomi totally heel. Make her vicious, make her terrible, but then give her real faces to go up against. The Bellas are not faces. They look like heels, they act like heels, they are heels, and they suck at heels. I'm just being honest here. I'm not against the Bellas like anyone I've ever said. Whoever gets in that ring, I respect them. But when it comes down to it, the characters have such bad development on them, they suck. Now, the final thing I'm going to talk about is Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. This is not about the match. This is about two people. Kane and Dean Ambrose. Because when this is all said and done after Payback, I believe by the time we go into Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins will be having a feud with Kane. The question is, how strong of a face can Kane pull off? Because this is Kane being a face. As much as they're trying to show him being so decisive and angry and trying to become the old monster, he's a face. This is the truth. Then you look at Seth Rollins, who's trying to be as heelish as he can, but he becomes a very weak heel because they had to make him win through really weak circumstances so many times. He's lost a lot of his steam. Now, when he won the title at WrestleMania, it was a great move. The WWE made the perfect move. They did. It was the only move they could make, and it was the perfect move they could make. But here's the problem. It was the only move they could make with him. And instead of him being allowed to not be so chicken shit, that he needs everyone else to save him, if they had allowed him to be more, what I would say, a battle master in the ring, a battle master in his talking, it would have been better. But because they make him so dependent on everyone, as a little kid, like he can't do a damn thing, and to grow up just like Kane said, to grow a set of balls, I really believe they made the horrible mistake of making him so weak that when it comes down to this, when it's all said and done, the one that's going to be the worst off to this is Seth Rollins. Because even if he stays heel, he's very weak. He really is. So when I go into this elimination chamber, when I go into this Payback, I'm going to care more about seeing what happened with Cena and Rusev. I am going to be honest. I want to see how badly Rusev is going to be buried. The Rowan and Luke might get a match on there, I think. Dean is the one that's going to have the most spotlighting here, and so will Kane. I don't know if Dean is going to win. He might. I think he should, because they're really posting him as the winner. But if I had to take a guess, it's a good possibility Seth will retain, and he will go into Elimination Chamber going against Kane. Yes, I say this now. Kane and Seth Rollins may go to Elimination Chamber in about 2 weeks after this is 3 weeks after this is over. It's a good possibility. And Sandow and Axel will be doing the Mega Powers Light, and they should have a match with the Ascension. If it's not on the kickoff show, it will be on the show. So how did I feel about this show? It wasn't a bad show, but I'll be honest here. The few things I'm interested in is a few things I'm interested in. The rest of this show wasn't that great. But you guys tell me how you feel, and I'll let you know how I feel. Now, I hope you enjoyed this Zane's View. Please give me a comment below. And I left out Daniel Bryan for a reason, because I'm doing a debate of the week on him separately. I didn't forget Daniel Bryan. I'm leaving it blank because I want to do a debate of the week on it, and you should see this right after this review. See ya!